Go to the gym in the evening. Salad. So it's
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yes, I love
Helps
the
me.
Greek yogurt, but I put mines with nuts and a little bit of frozen fruit.
Yeah, me too. But today I didn't do that. I was too much in a hurry because I needed to go to the gym. I needed to come back home, do a lot of things, get dressed. I also was like sending you a message. You could tell like Messi is not resting. I don't. I feel like a lot of people go, "Oh, do you even rest?" And I'm like, how do you rest? Like, how exhausted do you rest? I don't rest. I'm
Going.
always busy. I'm always going. There's always what is next. Before we get into our topic, which people will join soon, I hope so. I always ask people. People like go, oh, what like let me reduce this. I always tell people when you achieve what you're looking for right now, there's always going to be next. What is next? You want to be married, you're married. What next? There's always going to be something. What is next? So
Yeah, mine is too.
your ability to grow consistently is the only way because yeah, our body we are not programmed to be limited or to be in one place. We are limitless. So that is the reason we are always on the got to go. I used to be friends with somebody who told me, Messi always got to go. Messi always got to go. And I'm like, boy, please.
Yeah, I
That's
can't
how
just sit here. My goals are not on this chair.
no. What am I doing sitting down? So when people are like, oh yeah, she just
It's a high demand lifestyle and it's not for everyone. Some
no.
people, and it's not that these people aren't ambitious. It's just that maybe their goals are sitting in a single space.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's are, yours are not. And so the need to network,
Mm-hmm.
move around and create the life that you want to create looks different for everybody.
Yeah, a lot of people do not understand that. They only just see or say what they think of themselves. That cannot be me in Jesus' name. Like it can never be me. I don't think I can ever be the person who is not always on the move. I feel like that. I mean, I want to live this world at old age, very empowered, like
Yes,
very
leave an
telling
impact.
people, oh, I achieved this. I am that girl. My kids will look at my future. I look at their grandma or great grandma and be like, mm, 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 mm.
Something
Messy
to live up to.
girl.
Because, yeah, I don't know about you, but my family, I mean, there's people who have done good and accomplished good, but the majority of my family never really took life, by the horns and, went on because, my grandmother loved her so much. She was a wonderful woman, but she stayed 30 years at the same job, only
Oh,
moved a couple of times. And although she was a blessing to me and my family, and I miss her so much, I just feel like she didn't experience as much as she could, and to see that. And I know she wanted to experience because my grandfather joined the military and they moved all over and got to do a lot of things. But by the time I came on the scene, she was just home, and I can't do that.
no, no. We have too much potentials, I would say. There is a lot that is happening in our life that we cannot even comprehend. Even we cannot stop. I tell myself, Messi, you cannot stop you. I am unstoppable. You wanna try? I am
And
unstoppable. There is always a what next for me. What next? What next? So when I see people go, oh no, I'm just going to sit down here. I'm not doing it. I'm like, okay, that's for you. For me, Messi or Baka, okay, no, to go. I I am unstoppable. You see this word? We will achieve everything, every one thing I've ever put my mind to. I mean, that is my
sorry.
confession. I mean, so guys, you're welcome to our live. This is going to be interesting. So please send to your friends, your loved ones, your children, your partners, Everybody you can think of. We love you too. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. You're going to talk briefly of your experience. You're going to talk briefly about, our last section, and then you're just going to go from there. If I'm here, so we will. Did you
Okay.
already send to Facebook?
Are you sharing the slide or do I share the slide?
Yeah, yeah, you can share.
Okay. So,
The last link I sent you is the one you should share with.
all right. So, my name is Keyana Wheatley, and I am the founder of Restorative Community Concepts and the Red Barn Boutique. The Red Barn Boutique is a faith based ministry where we provide entrepreneurship opportunities to survivors of human trafficking and provide a free consignment program so that um, these people, mostly women, are able to start their own small business and thrive after surviving the horrific tragedies of human trafficking. And I have also launched an entrepreneurship program that shows how to create a business from scratch. And this program is available with resources to all 50 states in the United States, Ghana, and South Africa. And during this season, I have partnered with another nonprofit that teaches survivors of human trafficking farming and how to make clothes. So I'm right now trying to get to Ghana by the spring or summer. So that it has to happen. And then we're also trying to get the young lady from Ghana over here to Ohio in the United States. So um, my husband and I can help their farm. My husband and I farm. So we are farming over here, and I do help by phone. And she has a farm, but it's going like this. And I know if we can just come up with a team, we'll come set it up, get it looking good, and then we'll switch places. And then she'll come over here, hook up the store with some goodies, and get it looking good. So we both have something to bring to the table, and we are excited to work with each other. And we met through the Survivor Alliance, which is a worldwide alliance of human trafficking survivors that work in advocacy. And some have not found their calling in the space yet, and they're just there to glean from other leaders. And she runs the Saturday meetings, and she's amazing. I would maybe love to connect you with her, Mercy.
Yes,
She,
that'll be lovely.
yeah, she has a great line and is just doing it. And so, of course, we had to link up. And part of my advocacy work is about awareness campaigns. As a survivor myself, there are too many campaigns that don't spread awareness that is useful. A lot of people want to see shock and horror, and that's already there because it's shocking and it's horrific. But there are so many elements to this billion-dollar enterprise. So over $150 billion a year in the United States alone is off of the commercial sex industry on trafficked people alone. That does not include people who think they're willing or people who aren't sure if they're a victim. These are confirmed cases. And that's an alarming epidemic that needs to be addressed in our society. There's way too many women and girls being exploited on a daily basis. So I think it might be easier just to keep it rolling smooth. I will give the presentation orally. We don't necessarily need the graphics, so I'm just going to pull it up. And a little bit about me and my story and how I got into this advocacy work. When I was 15 years old, I was a babysitter, and my parents, we lived a somewhat dysfunctional lifestyle. I really can't say it was more dysfunctional than others because that's what I grew up around. My stepfather was a drug dealer. He was also working a couple of jobs. So he was the type of person who would do anything to make sure that his family had what we needed. However, I mean, and he was very talented. He knew how to hook up car stereo systems, do mechanic work, but for some reason he was really pulled to the street life. And that affected my childhood. And it affected the circles of the people around me. When they say you are who you hang around, my dad hung around drug dealers, and drug dealers hang around pimps and whores and crackheads and other people who are not safe. And these people may have their own backstory, but in the element of my life, they're just not safe. And so my stepfather did have some very strange circles around us, and that included the people that my mother met. And there was a distant relative who did work at a brothel. And I'm about 11 years old when I meet her. And I babysat for her, and I was known as the babysitter. I babysat for a lot of people. And the thing is, drug dealers and other people, strippers and other people living in the criminal lifestyle, they had a lot of money. So to babysit for them would be like looked at as maybe a good thing because they had, a good pay. And, that's not wonderful, but you would think nothing would happen. Nothing happened for years when I did that. I babysat for all kinds of people and nothing ever happened until one day, as I got older, I was introduced to someone, and she owned Anchorage, Alaska's largest escort service.
Oh.
And an escort service, for those of you who don't know, is a dating service, but it's really, I mean, when we use the term date in discussion of human trafficking and commercial sex industry, dating is actually the exchange of sexual favors for money. And she operated this system was she had ads in the phone book, full page blown ads. You won't see that today, but you still see it online. There is, subtle ads that are on Facebook, subtle ads that are on Instagram. Those ads they have a message. And if you're not a buyer, you may not notice what that message is. A buyer can see the signs and know, hey, this girl is for sale. There may be coded language. So, because prostitution is illegal in about 49 states, the term, you think, hey, this is an illegal thing. How can this happen online? How can this happen on Facebook? How can this happen on Craigslist? How can it happen on Instagram? Well, there's coded language. Is this what is the rating of this? What is the rating? Should I keep this? I mean, I'm not profane, but I'd like to know.
Keep it moderate, minimum.
Okay.
But as much as you keep going, if it's a language that is but
Yeah,
it's not children,
but it's still provocative.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for a person to be sold online and hide in plain sight, they might have a cleaning ad for a maid, but she may be, dressed a little scantal. So you might not, if you're going to get a cleaner, you might be like, I don't want this hoochie coming to my house, and you'll bypass, but you don't think. A man sees that and he's like, okay, I see what's going on here. And then there are also the language. And this is old language that has been around for over 20 years in the commercial sex industry space. Because you can't say, hey, I charge $200 for me to yuck, yuck, yuck. They would say things like, how many roses do you need? And roses has been a code word for money online. So if you see an ad and there's just a girl and, she may be dressed kind of sexy, but, you might not think anything of it. And then it might say something like 200 roses to set the table. And that is a code language for $200 to purchase nasty things. Yeah. And so, and then there's also even more terms. Some people pay extra for no protection. There's a code for that. People pay, for a GFE, is what they call a girlfriend experience. And that is where the person pretends they're in a relationship and they come over and they would pay for this girlfriend experience as if there is a relationship, because some people are so delusional. Buyers are in delusion. They want to believe that the girl wants to be there.
Eddie, I love you too. Sorry. My baby boo. It's my best friend's son.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
he's listening, so it's good. That's why
Yeah.
you hear you say,
Um,
"Hi, auntie. I love you. I love you too, darling." Please
yeah.
continue.
So great. This is a great message for young men to hear. So
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, paying a woman for her body and her time is never a good choice.
Never.
That is, yeah, women are not for sale. People are not for sale. And so these men have a delusion when they get this GFE, girlfriend experience. They even believe that their money can buy affection, emotion, not just a disgusting act, but to act like you like them, act like you like it. And so there's a term for that, and they are paying for that. There is also a lot of different language. And the thing is, through too much exposure to people are consuming a lot of corn,
Mm-hmm.
and that is something that is destructive. It plants a seed,
Mm-hmm.
and the seed of lust and the seed of sexuality and an ungodly presence opens the door for very dangerous habits.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know that there is so much time and money spent looking at unclean, filthy productions online. And not only are those things addictive and actually cause mental health problems, those are studies that are proven. And that's on the scientific side of things. They're starting to look and notice that um, people are becoming addicted. And out of all the things to be addicted to, this is one of the most shameful. To lock yourself away in a room, away from the world, walking away from the purpose that God has for your life, and spending your time gratifying yourself to images that are an illusion. The thing is, these women are not happy. They're not turned on. They're not ready to go. They are coerced by poverty. And one of the biggest scams in the world is the pornography industry, because there is an illusion of consent. And honestly, it's another form of trafficking. You have to pay an agent. Often you have to pay for your own travel.
Mm-hmm.
Often you end up addicted to drugs and alcohol because the acts are shameful. You would never let a room full of men take advantage of you um, in your right mind. And if you did, it would be often too disturbing. So many of these women, they never watch themselves. They get drunk and high, so they don't remember, and they never watch themselves. And then
Mm-hmm.
eventually, that is suppressive deep down inside. And guess what? No matter how many times you try to forget how much drugs and alcohol you do, there are going to be pieces that show up, and you are going to remember, and it's going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I just got invited because I also I started in that industry because I left after being exploited, and I started in that industry, and then I thought that was somewhere that I wanted to hang out. I only did webcams by myself because I didn't want to meet any people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still, and women think that that's safer, think it's this, think it's that. Um, it's not a glamorous life. The hours are crazy and you do make some money, but unless you are already a celebrity, um, the big money is not going to come to you. Don't get it twisted. Don't matter how pretty you are. It doesn't matter. It's just not going to be as big as if you've already done movies and been all over the internet. So people know who you are. And just like any other industry, you can sing and you might be good, but if you don't have an established audience, you're not going to get what you hoped out of it unless you are discovered. And to be discovered is ultimately to be exploited. Just from me doing shows on the webcam, I got a lot of messages from different agencies trying to get me hooked up with men, trying to get me pretty much sold. And I applied for a job for modeling and I thought, okay, let's do this. And I seen the website, everything looked okay. And then suddenly they were messaging me, trying to send me to hotels and for very little money. And then they wanted half of that. And so of course I didn't go, but just the thought, and then they continued to message me and you just don't know who you're going to run into. Pornography and trafficking are like this. I've been to AVN, and AVN is the Adult Video Network.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much like Netflix or HBO for pornography. And the thing about that, it's an award show. There are low level mixed with high level. So you're going there because Stormy Daniels is there. You know, last time she hosted the awards show, there was performance by Doja Cat, Cardi B. Everything about that place was demonic. And I was there very briefly, just like this. I went to one thing. And the thing is, they buy a big suite in Las Vegas. There's multiple rooms in there. And this is all a legal LLC business. There's multiple rooms in there, tons of drugs and alcohol, and cameras and beds and jacuzzis. And it looks like a big old party. But honestly, they are trying to get you to create more content for their pornography website.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was there and there were people, and this time I will be still going back. I'm going back. You can buy a table as a vendor. And so this time I'm going to provide resources and share my story with these women and let them know that you're not about to make it big. And even if you do, you know, you will be disgraced. It's not going to work out, you know? And Las Vegas doesn't care. We were right there in the hotel lobby of the Hard Rock Cafe doing cocaine in their lobby on the couch. Nobody cared. And then because I was associated with this conference, I have a key badge, and many men were trying to buy me and women were trying to be sold by me.
Oh.
Yeah, all because I had one badge on, backstage pass to this thing. So, you know, it was very ugly. There were people trying to recruit me. You know, these people are addicted to what they do, just like people are addicted to watching. People are addicted to performing. A lot of these people are often trauma and abuse survivors. And to create content is what they call it. And so now they're like, oh, you want to come back to my room and create some content? And then, you know, they want to put you on their platform, use you, and then get paid for it. And you probably won't get anything because it's really just another form of human trafficking. And it's a lot harder to prove you were trafficked because they may be, and in the big films, they may be paying you, but they won't pay for your hotel. They won't pay for your travel. So between hotel, you're getting maybe $2,000 a video, Okay, hotel, travel, drugs and alcohol, gone. So you live this life of traveling and going and going, and it looks very lavish,
Hmm.
but you're really not getting anything. You're just getting used and abused.
Um, Before we continue, I would there are a few questions. There are a few questions that I have here that I would want you to expatiate on.
Mhm.
Number one will be, what are some of the warning signs that someone might be a victim of trafficking? Like,
Okay,
what are the warning signs? Yes.
yes. So when I was being trafficked, I was 15. So if somebody has a lot of secret behavior,
Yes.
you need to check on your kids. You need to, if it's put an alarm off at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, wake up, walk and check that house. Especially if you have a lot of arguing and rebellion on your teenage girls. You need to wake up and check that house because guess what? My mom would go to bed. I would go in her room and I would call her name. And if she didn't answer, I knew I could escape.
Oh,
And if she did answer, I would say, "Oh, can I? Oh, I don't feel good. Can I get some? Do you have medicine?" Blah blah blah. Lying, tricking, manipulating. And so, a child that is manipulating, if you do allow your child out, you need to check and see and call that parent. I got caught that way one time. I would go and say, "Oh, I'm going to so and so's house," and then so and so would say, "Oh, I'm going to so and so's house." So she's lying, saying she's coming to my house to spend the night. I'm lying, saying I'm coming to her house to spend the night. Our parents talked to each other, and we got caught. But other times, many other times, I sometimes parents lie. If you're not sure about an adult, um, it's better off that you host the parties if you are a safe home, because there was an adult, and my mom's not calling maybe at midnight or 1 in the morning. She might call at 8 p.m. right before bed and say, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" We're like, "Oh, we're eating, we're going to bed at 10. Or we're whatever. And so even checking, you need to really scrutinize. If you have GPS AirPods for your kids, you need to know where they are at all times. Because if you don't, it's not just like, oh, they're drinking, they're partying, and they may get taken. The signs are rebellion, children trying to run away, children dressing sexier. And that happens anyway. Of course, we all have that stage where we think we're coming into womanhood and now we want to hug every curve, right?
yeah.
And so, but if you notice that also the behavior is more sexual, too advanced for their age.
Mm.
Too advanced for their age. Also, if you notice them maybe if drinking, smoking, having access to things that they didn't have access to before. Sometimes that may look like more clothing, name brand designer shoes, jewelry. These things popping up on a modest budget should never be. If it looks like they're living outside of the budget that you provide or even their small job provides, because I worked the job while I was being trafficked. So I had
Mm.
some money, but not enough money for the things that I was buying. I was having a few $1,000s on me at a time and things like that. And I would try to hide it. But as a kid, you're excited to have it. So you're going to buy anything you can get. Also, who is picking up and dropping off? Um, I was exploited by a rich lawyer who lived in a mansion. And I was about 15, 16. He got my house number. He knows not to call it. I have his house number, his house. I knew the
Wow.
number to this man's house and his office. When I was 17, he called me to his office, or 16. He called me to his office. I went up in the elevator and there he took advantage of me. And how could you, as a rich, successful white lawyer, have this strange young black girl come to your door and nobody notice?
Nobody noticed. It's
Nobody
something
cared.
special.
Yeah. And he had audacity. So we had each other's home numbers. I'm living with my mother. I'm 15 years old, 16 years old. So, I mean, I met him when I was about 15 and knew him until I was about 20. So the thing is, he picked me up from my home. And my sister saw something and I lied and said, that's my friend's dad. We have to pick her up next because he was old as could be. And he had the audacity to pull up in front of our home. My mom wasn't there or she would have had questions. So who's your child getting in a car with? Who's picking them up? It's something good to look twice if there is no other child in the car. I mean, and they
Mhm.
still can do that because that's also weird. But ultimately, a relationship is important, and that I hope that answers the questions.
Yeah.
And also, there could
So,
be withdrawal.
withdrawal. What does that mean?
Withdrawal. So, okay, imagine how we're talking and we're hanging and we're kicking it. And then over time, I might start talking to
With,
you less, like
okay.
withdrawing back
Withdraw.
from you. Like, say we
Okay.
are friends, I can trust you with my secrets. I can, like you talk to your mom, how did they win at school? What happened at school? What happened? What happened? And so now suddenly those stories are disappearing.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna try to record this one. Okay, so the next question is, what are the main factor that makes people vulnerable to trafficking?
Okay, so this is the thing. There's no, there may be dysfunctional homes and poverty are possibilities, but guess what? People get trafficked in elite circles too. These rich girls, Masonic lodges, it just doesn't matter. Um, to be available and to be convinced. All it takes, what makes you vulnerable is that you are convinced that this is okay. I mean, there's also, there is cases of like people kidnapping people, drugging people. But the thing is, no buyer, no good customer, unless he's very weird, which is, also a possibility. But, I didn't get snatched and taken into a van. That's not how it works. You butter this person up. You say, dang, girl, you are so pretty. You already know that all these men want is sex, sex, sex. And you're already out here doing it. So you might as well get paid for it. They'll talk to you. She talked to me like that and she pumped me up. And then I was, going to school and I didn't have a lot of style. I would look cute, like I'd get compliments, but she really had her dressing down. So while I was babysitting, she would party until the wee hours of the morning. And then on the occasion that I did go to school, the next morning when she came home to relieve me, she would say, girl, let's put this on you. Let's put this on you. She was like a big sister. So, not only am I on my way to school, but she's dressing me. She's taking me in a drop top Mustang convertible, at 20-inch rims, big music. I want to be popular. So I'm coming out of this car, right? And the music's going. It's me. I got this nice outfit on. I haven't even sold my body yet, but she was working her way.
Hmm. It's like
So there's,
nurturing the person to being what they want to, like
yes, the process is grooming.
grooming. Yes.
Hmm.
Wow. Jesus, have mercy. I'm gonna just be asking the question so you can uh build on that, right?
Yes, and then I still have I have
Okay,
my
yeah.
slide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want to know who is responsible for trafficking people in the United States? Of the 1,070 defendants charged with any of the three types of human trafficking offenses in the United States District Court in fiscal year of 2022, 91% of traffickers were male, 58% of traffickers were white, 20% of traffickers were black, 18% were Hispanic, and 95% were US citizens. So 71% had no prior convictions. And of the 203 defendants charged with peonage, slavery, forced labor, and sex trafficking, 69% of them were male and 53% were black. In comparison of the 523 defendants charged with sexual exploitation and other abuse of children, 94% were male and 71% were white. And so the thing about buying sex and human trafficking is we have a lot of laws in this country. So our good men that we believe are, they're not getting in trouble, So we're thinking they must be good people. And then they go to places like Thailand, Cambodia, and other foreign countries, and they do nasty things to those children. And then they come home like nothing happened because the law would allow it, or there's less consequence if you were caught. And then there's trafficker terminology. There are so many different types of pimps. Like, as we just explained that data, in the US, you know, especially like with 50 Cent and the rap song, a PIMP, right? And you think, oh, trafficking or pimping is a Black issue. They might think that's a Black issue. But if you look at the data,
Yeah.
when it comes to sex and sex trafficking and abuse, 523 cases, 94% were male. So it's not a woman issue, it's a man
No.
issue. And 71% were white. So when it comes to that type of exploitation, that is definitely a white male issue in dominance. However, when it comes to all different like forced labor, sex trafficking, there were a 53% of Black males and 69% were male. So, you know, there is a problem here. And, you know, I know right now, I know this just speaks to the United States, but there is this image going on that immigrants are the ones doing all this. 95% of trafficking cases were with US citizens, and only 18% were Hispanic. So there are just, you know, a lot of myths to be busted. And now the trafficker terminology, which means the lingo, the terms. There are so many different types of pimps, and society has different types of pimps all over in different classes. Women are also capable of being pimps. Although terms like madam, pimptress, or mama song are used to describe the female trafficker. There is, okay, so madam,
Yes.
you hear of madam and escort madam.
Yeah.
Then you hear pimptress.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like emperor and empress, pimp,
Yes.
pimptress.
Pinterest.
And
Oh my.
so, and then mama song is more of the Asian term for a woman who manages a prostitution enterprise. And these are, you know, there's, and then right now, what I'm about to get into, these terms here can go for man or woman. And so one type of pimp is the gorilla pimp. I had a gorilla pimp. And a gorilla pimp is kidnapping and slapping people into submission. He doesn't care about stimulating your mind or pumping you up. I had two traffickers, if you couldn't tell by some of the stories. For some of you have not heard my previous story. And so this one is where the victim is always tortured for noncompliance. The reward for compliance is minimal and taken away frequently. He keeps fear in the hearts of his victims. He threatens to hurt the victim and their family. In the gorilla game, anything goes. Sometimes drugs are used to lure and entice addicts. Sometimes sobriety is mandatory. So I had a gorilla pimp, and he gave us a lot of drugs. Now we're addicted. And then one day he was like, "No more drugs in here."
How is
And
that possible?
after he got us all
No, you
addicted,
got them stuck. You did this. That's on you.
and then he's like, "I'm not." Yeah, he did it on purpose because the control. Imagine, so, you know, imagine he's giving these drugs away. Like, he had a big plate like this full of drugs, and he's giving it to us, you know, and then he got us addicted. And then he's like, "You know what? These drugs are done. And if I catch you doing any drugs in here, I'm beating you down." And he did that on purpose. He did that on purpose, just because of the control of it. And then, of course, the drug came back because we were easier to deal with. But he did take them away to prove that he was in control. And, you know, he appears to be, you know, maybe he might start off charming and charismatic, and then he switches. I knew him for a couple of years. I knew him. I met him through my other trafficker. I mingled with him briefly. He seemed polite enough. And then that's how he got my guard down to trust him. And then he really, really terrified me. I witnessed him beat one of the victims bloody and put her on her knees and beat her with a curling iron, a big one, the ones that make the pretty curls. He wrapped it, and just was banging, banging. And then he also was known to assault women with hot curling irons. I won't be vulgar, but he used it as a weapon to assault in a very profane and sexual manner. And so that's a gorilla pimp. And then there's a tennis shoe pimp. The tennis shoe pimp is somebody that is homeless and maybe battling substance abuse issues. He has nothing to offer his victims. He pimps people out to maintain his drug and alcohol habits. This type of person would have the best chance of exploiting a homeless type of girl, a young girl who's maybe homeless. He'll say, hey, if you do this, I can get us into an apartment. I can get us into a hotel. And so he is typically just on the streets, because it's from every class of life. So don't think that somebody can't be a pimp because they're not driving a Cadillac or they don't have a bunch of beautiful women around them. This guy could have nothing in his pocket but lint and still pressure a girl into doing something that is not right.
That must be another level of craziness.
Yeah, it's called the tennis shoe pimp. When I was on drugs and alcohol, I was approached by tennis shoe pimps, but I knew my life's already bad. I can't be outside with you.
I already know what I am. I'm not gonna add you to this. No, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, things are already not going very well.
No, I'm trying to survive, and I'm not gonna
Yes.
let you help me ruin it.
Yes, and the beautiful thing about that, some girls ended up with those type of guys, and the thing is, there was something called choosing. And choosing is where these abusers will let you go if you pick another abuser. You can't leave by yourself. But they say, okay, you want to choose up? So there's something called choosing up. And I was walking out there in the criminal area, and these tennis shoe pimps were trying to talk to me. And I was just like, no. And then,
no, thank you.
yeah. And then here goes my trafficker, the other pimp. He rolls up in his Mercedes and he was like, oh, what are you guys doing? He's like, we're trying to get her to choose up. And then he was like, well, she's with me. And then they left me alone. And I was like, oh, no, I didn't want to be with him either. That day, he was driving over the medians trying to kidnap me. And the only reason I did not get kidnapped that day was because a couple weeks prior, somebody shot him in the leg.
Oh.
So he couldn't get out and subdue me the way he wanted to. He drove and he was in every alley chasing me very hard. Get in this car, calling me names, get in this car. And the only reason I got away was because he was injured. And then later, of course, because he calls me and maybe 2 weeks later calls me, tries to smooth talk. He's like, the only reason that I didn't get you is because I got shot and you thought you were funny. And he's still trying to make up excuses as to why he wasn't in control of me. And then he was right. The reason I got away, it was because he got shot, but he's explaining that to me. And then when he was on ankle monitor, because he was in and out, he would say things like, I'm still me. So he's on ankle monitor. So we're thinking, oh, girl, we got it easy. Anything happens, he's going to jail. And he would be like, no, I'm still me. And one time a girl called the cops on him and he was hiding in the bushes. And he told me before he went in the bushes, the cops are here. You're going to talk to them. If you tell them anything crazy, I'm going to jump out. I'm going to beat you down. And then I'm going to jail. So I just told the police everything's fine here. The girl called because she was drunk and she left. And so then there's the Romeo pimp. And the Romeo pimp is someone who uses a heavy romantic spell to lure his victim. He wants to swoon the blood out of the prey. And he wants
one sec, I'm sorry. Please, I want to record this. So just start with the Romeo again.
Okay, and so this is the Romeo pimp. He uses a heavy romantic spell to lure his victim. He wants to swoon the blood out of his prey with promises of marriage, gifts, and other romantic gestures that are surfacing at every turn. It's called love bombing. Love bombing is when you're getting a bunch of gifts, everything's moving way too fast to be realistic. You know, you guys been together for 3 days. He wants to marry you. You got roses, got you a gold necklace. It's 3 days in. What's going on? But you feel it. If you don't have self-esteem, or you've been abused, or your family doesn't love you and show you attention, you would be like, it's finally here. It's finally here. Somebody loves me. And that's what he wants you to feel. And, you know, he will even make you say you love him back until, because, you know, you're like, hey, I just met you. That's not true. And he's like, oh, so you don't love me? You need to tell me you love me. I love you. You don't believe in love at first sight? I know what I feel in my heart, and it's you. You know, and then now you are like, okay, I love you too.
Really, I love you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And so he does that so that he establishes a root. He's like, you know what? I already can tell. It's only been a month, but more than family, more than this, more than that. I know you're going to have kids with me. I need you to move in to show me this is real. And I need us to get married. You know, why wait? Why wait? Why wait till we're old? He'll say anything. And some may mean that, but he is saying that so he can get you. And then now that he's got you, he will introduce you to the family. It will be either A, his crime family, or his real family if the real family is involved in crime, like a mafia. So the thing is, you know, now that you're meeting these people, and you know, if you've been abused or you've been treated less than, the guys you dated before never wanted you to meet their mother. They never wanted you to be anything special. So now you're like, oh, this is his mom. I'm real. I'm somebody.
I met his mom. He must be the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm gonna
Sometimes
record
it's
this.
not his real mom. Sometimes that's just a madam.
Apparently, what she's trying to say is show more love to your loved ones. So when they go outside, people do not have to do that to them. You see, young girls, they're all carried away by, I love you, and it's finished. That is it. Because they did not get enough love from home. A
Mm-hmm.
woman can just come and just something that you have this good bonding with your mom. All of a sudden, oh, he's a mama's boy. He's
Mm-hmm.
not, he's just a normal boy. But
Yeah, we've
because
been so
we,
traumatized.
yes. So we do not show our kids or partner or ex enough love for them not to fall in that
The
prey.
fake love, and some people even guess what? Some people might feel deep down in maybe this isn't real, but this may be the only thing I ever get.
Yeah, but it's the best, even if it's fake. Have you seen? There was a video I saw online of a white woman that said, even though I know he's a scammer, I still
Yes.
love him. This is the
Mhm.
best attention, the best this I have
Yeah.
ever gotten all my life. And I'm like, oh my God, who did
Oh,
this to
I
you?
would love to. I'd love to share. If my husband will come on, I don't know. He's a shy and he's a professional, but he was scammed by someone in the Philippines before we met. So it was
Wow.
very hard for him to open up to me because this relationship, this girl, she was like, "I'm a woman of God. I'm a missionary,"
Oh,
and
please.
yes, and of course, you know,
Please.
yes. And so that happened. And then also with the elderly, they say, hey, I knew that wasn't my grandchild on the phone, but I was lonely. Nobody, my real grandchildren left me.
Yeah. So I don't mind
So,
giving this person everything.
yeah, because at least they're coming back. And isn't that so sad? And that's the
It is
thing.
sad.
And
It
that's the
is
thing.
sad.
After getting beaten and giving away all your money, it's the same thing. When this man is beating on you because now you're controlling. So part of the love bombing is, hey, I want you out of myself. I don't know who your friends are, but I don't like them. And I don't need your friends around here trying to tell you that I'm not the one. They just don't want to see you happy. So you need to get away from them. And that's called isolation tactic.
That I just wanted to say that they isolate you so they can prey on you.
Yeah. And just like how it happened with me, you know, the female trafficker, instead of she tried her best to isolate me, and when she could not, she became good friends with all of my friends. So I had no way. That's another way to isolate. Because think about it. I go to these friends to get away from you. But now you are like this with them, taking them out shopping, going to the mall with them, going to the movies, doing normal things with them so you can sell me.
You apparently you are now like the bad person, and they'll be more used to that outsider than you. I usually say this to friends and family. Like I told my older sister this some time ago. If I see you as my friend or family member and I'm following somebody, I don't care where I'm following the person on Instagram or and I'm posting the person and you went and followed that person, you better follow that person and be going. Why? Because I've come to the realization that people use that to trap you.
Yes, yes, at least you see this. And that's what she did to me. And so imagine I couldn't turn left, I couldn't turn right. And guess what? When I wouldn't answer her phone calls or open the door, she would be
Mhm.
outside the door with my friends. These are my friends from high school and my normal life. Now you've got both of my friends outside the door with you, and they love me. And I feel bad because there you are with them. I can't open the door because you're there. I want to open the door to them and see them. They're my friends, but I hate you. And it was hard. I had to open the door and say, "Hey, you guys, I don't know why you're with her, but please don't come here with her." And I had to tell them. They didn't notice it because guess what? She had a drop top Mustang. She had all the good stuff, the music, the weed, the drinks. She had it all. So think about this. They're like, "Oh my goodness, why wouldn't you want to hang out with her?" I'm like, "Because it cost me." So they couldn't understand. And then one of the friends of mine ended up driving for her. He driving for her to take the prostitutes to different outcalls. And then he himself became trafficked because he didn't listen to my warning. Um, and so, and she was Romeo too. She couldn't Romeo me because I did not want to have a relationship with her, but she
You
tried.
you were unable to be Romeoed.
Yeah, yeah. I did not want it, and she tried, but she knew that it wasn't, she's everywhere. So she didn't need to
Mm.
focus on romantic with me because she already had me with the money control because, she did let me keep half of my money. But if she got mad, she would fine me. So if I did something that she didn't like, she would say, "Oh, that's $500."
Oh boy.
But think about it. Now I'm dropped out of school. I'm addicted to drugs and I don't have a job anymore because I chose to be around her. And now she's manipulating me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned 19, I finally did get away from her, but I only ended up with another trafficker.
Yeah.
And then you have the smooth pimp, the player. Now,
Come
the
again
smooth,
with that. One sec. Come again with that. Yeah.
okay, so there's a smooth pimp, the player, and his words are spread over the victim's mind like butter. And he promises a better life. He promises he's going to get you out of your bad situation. He'll help you go to nursing school, help you be a doctor, help you be a lawyer, anything you want. You want a BBL? He'll buy you a BBL. He'll buy you fur coats. And he will do those things if you are loyal. You will suffer before you get those things. The other girls have already been suffered. So when you see that girl that he already bought the butt for, because she's there and she's like, yeah, she'll turn around and show it to you and say, yeah, you can get one of these. You just got to make money. And then he'll buy it for you. Okay, well, it's 5,000 at the doctor. It's 50,000 from him. So, and once they buy your surgeries, you are stuck because they're like, oh, they'll try to rip them off you if you leave. But as a smooth pimp, he's very handsome, very charismatic. He loves to pump you up and tell you how good you are at what you do. Um, they'll tell you that you were born for this, that you're a natural, that you are seduction. They're the ones seducing you, but they will tell you, like, girl, these tricks ain't going to be able to handle you. You're too smooth. And look at you. You're naturally, you know how to finesse. Once we get your hair and nails done and everything, whenever I see you, all I can see is a future lawyer. And you got to play the game to get what you want in life. And they'll just sell this thing to you where you are he's a cheerleader. He promotes healthy living. Like, I knew a girl. She was like, oh, I can't do these drugs and alcohol. I can drink a little bit. My pimp only lets me have this many drinks. I have to work out. I have to go to the gym. I have to eat this kind of diet. And also, oh, I am in school right now. So the girl is in college, but you're paying like 3 times the tuition because you're taking care of him and he is playing the manager. And it's a lot harder to get away from the smooth pimp because these girls do fall in love. They fall in love because this man has a real big vision. He has connections to celebrities. He has more connections than the average pimp. Um, and he also has everything neat. Everything good looks like it's coming from him. He's like, hey, my girls don't wear this kind of stuff. My girls don't wear tennis shoes. My girls don't wear jeans. My girls are dressed classy. A limousine is going to take you everywhere you go. It's another form of control because the limo driver works for him and won't take you anywhere you're not allowed to go. But it sounds very glamorous. And depending on where you came from in life, to get out of a limousine everywhere you go makes you like, people may already you have a dream to be an actress. You have a dream to be this. And he's creating a fake lifestyle that looks like it's a counterfeit of the lifestyle you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's intelligent and he looks for women who have goals. And then we have the cult leader. So the religious cult leader is a different type of pimp. So it's a spiritual trafficker, an individual or group that exploits religious authority and spiritual beliefs to traffic individuals for labor, sexual exploitation, or financial gain. The faith manipulator is a trafficker who uses religious rhetoric, prophecies, or spiritual claims to manipulate and control victims. Cult or sect leaders are religious groups that practice forced labor, sexual servitude, or indoctrination through spiritual abuse, a false prophet and a false healer, or a self-proclaimed religious figure who deceives the followers with false promises of healing, salvation, divine intervention, while exploiting them for labor or sexual purposes, excuse me. The religious exploiter is someone who you may trust. Unfortunately, I am a woman of God and I'm a woman of faith, and I will never let this come between me and my Lord, And there are people dressed as a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's why if you are in the faith and you have your Savior, you have your Lord, and you have your community, but you need to always pray for discernment that the Holy Spirit will guide you to the right people. Often, we hear a word and we're like, prophesy, prophesy, because everybody wants to have a prophetic word. And guess what? Familiar spirits can appear prophetic. When they're just sitting there.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh with that because the time Clubhouse just started. Like when
Clubhouse. Have you been? I want to write a book called Surviving Clubhouse.
When Clubhouse just started, I had a on the Unstoppable Tribe in Clubhouse, and then you would just walk into a room like randomly on this random Friday or Saturday, or you have a spare time, and you thought, okay, let me just connect.
Yeah, trying to get some Jesus, and they play.
You just go. You come up, come up, come up, come up, and you go, okay. God is telling me to can you please shut up? It's not God's.
And guess what? And if you receive those prophecies, you're coming into an agreement with a witch or warlock, and you're coming into agreement with something that is not of God. And now this has been spoken over your life because power is of life and death is in the tongue. And you can't be paying for prophecy. You can't be paying for prophecy.
One thing I know is God will speak to you if you listen to him. God does not have to speak to somebody to tell you. I'll tell you a story. This story, a lot of my friends know it because it's something I mean, I'm one person that I hear from God. Like, I hear from God.
Amen.
It's
Yes.
either God is talking to me or He's revealing it to me. So, what was I wanting to say? Okay, so there was something that was supposed to happen in school. I was in, uni. There's something that's supposed to happen in school. And this is me. God shows me what will happen. If it's something He needs to protect me from, He will. If it's something He wants me to be careful, He will. So that day, I just had a dream. I saw so-called best friend. She was
Mhm.
ganging up, waiting for me to come. When I woke up, I called her on the phone. It was like 6 a.m. I said, Spike Z, see, I will call. I said, I had a dream. I saw you boiling and waiting for me in school. Did I offend you? She said, no. I said,
Yes.
girl, you know you cannot hide from me. Just say it. Did I? She said, no, please come to school. So I was going to school, anointed myself. I got to school. As I was just entering, the same way I saw it in my dream, she was just standing there. Hey, Mercy, come. They said, and I smiled. When she was done, I just took off my shoe. I said one word to her. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but in a nutshell, if God wants to speak to you, right? And that is why a lot of people are falling into deceit. Even if I want, now, that sometimes as a Christian, you want a confirmation. You want God to speak to you. You want, like a confirmation, something you've known from God. You are expecting this from God. So you just want a confirmation. You can also get that, but know that, is he aligned with my purpose? Is he aligning with what God has said to me 5 years ago? Is he aligning with God's purpose for my life? This is as if you're coming to tell me, oh, well, let me see. Someone once told me, let me see how you will graduate from this school. And I told her, my darling, I will graduate. You will be
Ah,
nowhere to be found when I'm graduating. It happened like that. So when clubbers just started, you will just go into a room. Oh, God is telling me there are some that are real.
oh, for
There
sure.
are some God that God really spoke to them, but there are some demonic ones that you will hear and you'll be like, hmm. And God has helped me to the point that you cannot say those kind of things to me. As far as it does not align, somebody will not come message God say I should tell you. I say thank you, but tell him to reveal it to me. Because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a confirmation. If God say you are going to have a set of twins, He has already told you. You already heard it from the Word of God. So it's a confirmation of the pastor not telling you, "Oh, can I tell you are going to have
Yes.
a set of
Because when
twins?"
you
And
came,
then you go, "It's a confirmation of what God has said to me." God is not an author of confusion. He
amen.
doesn't need to not Please continue because I can dwell on this topic for 24 hours. I can keep
Oh,
talking
so
about
can I. I am
yes.
writing a book about surviving Clubhouse, and I'm talking about. I'm not kidding. If you ever want to get in on that, if you want to co-author, there's me and one other lady. If you would like to, so we can all compile and share our experiences because people need to know exploitation, especially when it comes to that prophecy. And I was newer in my walk, and I, I mean, I only gave them some people a little bit of money, but the point is, and then they matched it up with scripture. They twisted the scripture to match it up. And when you're not hearing from God, I made the mistake like Saul did, and I sought the witch. I didn't know I was seeking the witch. He knew he was seeking the witch. I didn't know I was seeking the witch, but I felt God wasn't talking to me. I couldn't hear him, so I went to somebody. And you can't just go to people. Even if the person is an accurate prophet, if you go to them looking for a word, you're looking for a soothsayer, and you're both engaging in divination. The gifts come without repentance. So just because somebody can prophesy doesn't always mean they should. I got in trouble a little, I mean, not big trouble, but God gave me a word. And I was like, oh, I better tell her what's going on. I was like, girl, God said, get your stuff out my boutique. He said, this stuff is not good for the boutique and he wants it out. And I offended her, and the enemy couldn't wait. That was a word for me to smoothly get her things out without offending her. But when I came in with that word hot and heavy, the spirit of offense jumped right on her.
you can hear from God, but you need wisdom to convey the
To
message.
release. How do you release, or do you release? And every word you get isn't a word to release, but I didn't know that. So I was like, oh, girl, God told me that you got some, and then, and God was like,
I remember a couple of years ago, I think 4 years ago, there was someone that was like always bringing her kid to me, and then there was something always strange going on. So I was like, God, I've not been talking to you since, so show me what's going on. And then I saw a revelation. Her son had turned to a snake. I didn't have to go approach her and tell her,
ooh,
oh, I saw you as a snake in my dream. No, I just called my best friend. She's here. She came to me.
yes.
I just called her. I'm like, girl, this girl XYZ, I just saw her and my friend already knows, So it's not all when God shows you something like that, it's not he didn't send you message.
But it was my first prophecy, so I couldn't
I
wait. I
don't
was
he
like,
he
oh,
might just
hold
be
on. It's
telling you to
prophecy.
pray. He might just be telling you to pray for that person. He might just be
Yes,
telling you to be careful of that person.
yes. But do you know how ignorant I was? I called her and I was like, I've got a word from the Lord. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait.
Apostle Priscilla should flog you.
Yes, and I mean, oh, so
Oh
wrong.
my God.
And she
I
was
wish the
the
girl's
spirit.
friend here. Let her laugh her body off. Jesus. Because I
Yeah,
told you.
I had to come back and hey, I didn't mean to offend you because the spirit of offense already dwelled over her. So then she's like adding to the story, saying things I didn't say because
Of
the spirit of offense
course.
gave her all of these scenarios of why she wasn't worthy, and that wasn't true. So that was bad. But yeah,
Woman, next time when God sends you a message, know if the word is for your consumption or if it is to tell someone. It's just as if God is telling me to tell someone, you need to be careful of this. Even it can be colors, it can be what I wear, it might be what I eat. You know, I like to consume watermelon. See, watermelon and suya was
too
my
much
best
sugar.
food in Nigeria. So of when I stopped, not stop, but there was a time it was as if God was telling me to stop eating watermelon.
Mhm.
I kid you not, at night. So that period, whenever I take the watermelon, I'll have cramp, horrible ones. I'll have cramp or through. And I'm like, God, that is for my consumption.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
because
need a nutritionist to now be telling me, oh, it's the watermelon. God has already said it to me, girl, my child. I want you to stop taking that. So there's some messages that are for your consumption. I might just be telling you, don't talk about this thing again. I remember there's a topic I normally talk about. I'll call my best friend, hey, this person did this, and she'll go, Mercy, don't repeat this again. Don't do this again. Don't do. But God has already said it to me. But because I was too stubborn, he now used her to talk to me. So some prophecy are for your. So when I see men of God like talking, they go and talk. Oh, your wife is trying to do this. Your wife is your. It's not meant for you to say it publicly. It
oh
is
yeah,
meant.
and that I can't stand. And if God gave you that word, your wife is cheating on you, boy, you better take that to the back. You got these people over here like,
He wants
ooh.
you to pray
Yeah, and the
for
gift
her
come
back.
without repentance. So here goes a gift from God and a man not properly stewarding the gift.
And then
Not stewarding.
so I totally
Yeah.
could relate when you said some preachers use that to lure younger. Like you see people who have, let's say a woman is looking for the fruit of the word, the pastor say come for personal prayers. And then
Yes.
you say, God is saying, it's my own seed that will get you. Well, instead of you to just say what God said, that the man is not, this thing, he's not fertile.
Yeah.
So
Now,
why
and
are
he's
you
got no
going
fear of hellfire. No fear of
why?
hellfire.
Why are you not saying the woman should come for a personal? You should just say what it is,
Never.
black and
You
white.
don't even lay hands on a man or a woman except for the forehead and maybe the shoulder. Maybe not. If the girl has a tank top on and you're a man, you don't lay hands on that shoulder. There's an order. And then on top of that, like me, I'm going in for deliverance. And guess who's coming with me? My husband. You don't do things like that alone because the man, what if the man thinks that, oh, I have no temptation? And then you go ahead and you start, and then suddenly Lust is in the
are
air.
you aware that that place needs self control? Outside you need God, you still need self control. That place does not
The
carry
fruit of
Holy
the
Spirit.
spirit.
It does not carry Holy Spirit. So why did you think that some churches will go stop dressing provocately to church? Why? Because he's a man of
Lust.
God.
And even those dancers, why are you kicking your leg up in the air and doing that? And the thing is, some men may not be turned on. You're covered and you're dancing, but when you're doing all these seductive moves in here, it's like strippers at the church.
See, you know what? Let's not. I
Okay.
just need to continue
That's
because
that's a whole nother episode.
last episode, which I mean, we are lining that so we can.
Yes, because we got that. Yeah. And so back to go on topic. There
Please.
is in our culture, there is a heavy admiration and reverence for pimps. So if you listen to a lot of the cultural music, even in country music, even in rock music, and of course everybody knows that it's in rap music. Bands will make her dance. The song by 3 6 Mafia, that song is discussing that he is lord and controller over this woman because he has the money and can get her to do whatever he wants her to do.
Hmm.
He goes ahead and he talks about receiving sexual favors in his vehicle, and the things that she will do for the money, and stuff like that. So there is an event, and the event is called the Players Ball. It's an annual event that originated in Chicago, Illinois in 1974. It was established by Don Magic Juan. He is a former pimp who supposedly became a minister. And if he did, and he's preaching the true word of God, God bless him and be with him. If he's not, he will be exposed. The event serves as a gathering for individuals in the pimping subculture to celebrate their lifestyle and their achievements. And the inspiration from the Players Ball came from the 1973 film The Mac, which is a black exploitation film. We call them black exploitation films because they represent the propaganda that black men are pimps and black women are whores. And that's not true, but these are the types of movies, obviously, that portray that lifestyle. And so people who may never meet a Black American would have these preconceived notions. I was just walking one time and I wasn't dressed any kind of way, and the guy tried to pick me up. And that's because, from his knowledge and belief, all Black women are whores and prostitutes. So, that movies like that and music like that definitely perpetuate a stereotype. And it puts a lot of pressure on the culture of our women. I bet you I can tell you something here. At parties at home, whether you wait from another country or me from another country, and we never think of anything of it, but we would have dancing contests and the kids would get a few dollars at the barbecue. Well, little do we know, and if you're dancing too nasty, they might stop you, of course, but still, just the idea of it is grooming our young girls to become
That when
strippers.
they dance, okay.
Yeah, because I don't know. Did you ever have that in your country?
Yes, it's
Okay,
still
yeah,
a
and
thing, but
you see how we're a million miles apart,
yes.
culture-wise. But why is that something that we can both relate to? That shouldn't be a Black experience, and it's grooming, and that is something. How could my family know that? How could your family know that? But that is
Hmm.
something that is and guess what? You might not even be dancing nasty. And if you are, they might say, hey, that's too
Yes,
much.
of
Still,
course.
even if you're dancing just normal, why is it attached to money of a contest and who's the best dancer, a prize of some kind? It doesn't maybe mean to be sexual, but guess what? There's somebody's creepy uncle in the corner looking at you.
Hmm.
Somebody's creepy is there, and he hasn't exposed himself yet, and maybe he's never got a hold of you, but he's there. So the Players Ball is like a party, a pimp party. It's an awards. It's like the Grammys for pimps.
Wow.
So yeah, and there's people have those parties all over. And the thing is, the Players Ball has been documented in films like Pimps Up, Hose Down, and American Pimp. And those documentaries are exposing the culture. So, imagine when this players ball came around, it was expected of us women to dress the best, because not only are you, it's not like you're going on an appointment to be sold. Now you are going to sell the image that this pimp is the best pimp because look at me and what I've got and how I dress and how I look. So now we are going to be trophies. Now you got to be a trophy to this pimp. And then if he says anything to you stupid, you just have to take it, because you will be slapped in front of everybody.
Wow.
So, and then there's a culture of that. And it all came from a movie. And then from that movie, they developed it into a real thing. And so the difference between religious trafficking and traditional trafficking, both of them, one goes for spiritual manipulation, and there are faith-based labor camps. So they tell you you're going to monasteries, a retreat, mission trip, and they just working you. I mean, and guess what? You don't have to go on a fancy trip. You can just be in the church. If they make you set up the chairs every time, you're not getting a dime and you got to clean up the place. If you're not volunteering for that, or if you are unavailable to do so, I mean, please give your labor and never stop. But when somebody expects it of you and will maybe make you feel guilty the 1 or 2 or 3 times you can't do it, and it becomes like a job, and it's based around manipulation, you are being labor trafficked right there at church. So it's okay to volunteer. I love to volunteer, but I noticed this woman, she's making a lot of money, and I'm volunteering, and I was like, whoa. And people would get mad at me and be rude to me, like, she's using you. Why are you going to help her? And I was just like, well, if I don't mind volunteering, but they already knew who she was and how much she would suck out of somebody. And, she was a woman of God, but it turned out she struggled to pay her workers. And it's okay not to pay your volunteers. It's a volunteer job, but treat your volunteers well and do not expect too much from them. And if they're not available, you can't have them feeling guilty. And so that's pretty much some of the differences. And so, of course, we've got labor trafficking, which is different than sex trafficking, but the two can coexist. So imagine I get hired for a job. I go to the job and I get a few paychecks and I'm happy. And then it's time for my third check and I'm calling and they're like, we sent it to you. And, you're expected to keep coming to work because you don't want to be absent. They're like, oh, yeah, it's lost in the mail. I'll resend your check. And this happened to me. And I was just like, where's my money? And it was because they wanted to get as much free labor off of me as they could. They start you off with a few checks so you trust. And then in the back, they withdraw that money and they keep the work coming until they see how much they can get out of you for free. And there was no way, even when I should have known a red flag was when I did have a check from them, my bank wouldn't cash it. I had to go to a ghetto check cashing place. My bank said, we don't do business with them.
Oh my
God.
I
was like, why? And I still didn't get the flag. And then they were like, this place is a scam. And we've had a lot of checks bouncing, a lot of this and that. And there's no money in the account, everything like that. And I didn't know any better.
And still, you still didn't think that there was something wrong with it.
Yeah. And so there's also debt bondage. Some people, especially a lot of immigrants, they come over to the country and then they're like, hey, we will house you, we will feed you, and you can work. And then suddenly they're like, you owe for housing, you owe for food, and then you have very little money left. And then you are always owing. Mm-hmm. And then there's involuntary servitude, where people are made to work against their will with threats. And sometimes they'll say, oh, I'll get your green card taken. I'll call ICE on you. I'll do this, I'll do that. And for people don't know, ICE is the immigration police. Mm-hmm. So they'll say, I'll call the immigration police on you if you don't work these extra 3 hours. If you want to come into this country, you're going to work for it. And they try to play you so that you are overworking and and that they may hold your documents. Both in sex and labor trafficking, documents are held to keep control. So they say, hey, welcome to our program. There's a lot of thieves around here, so we keep all the documents in the safes just in case you need them. And that sounds good. And guess what? Labor trafficking said that, and sex trafficking said that. My trafficker said it to me because he was like, hey, if you go to jail, what am I going to do? If I call the jail and ask for cocoa, they're not going to know who I'm talking about. Give me your ID and your real name so I can bail you out. And so, now he's coming like the hero. Okay, here, I don't want to lose it. You're right. I party a lot here. And guess what? I could never get my ID. I could only get a copy, a photocopy. And only if he said I could use it. And if I had that piece of paper, I couldn't lose it or I had anything important that I had to do with my ID, I had to have him come with me. And labor trafficking does the same thing. And so, they are separate but different. And there's also wage theft, and that is withholding the wages to pay workers. There's seasonal or temporary labor exploitation, and that is, in the fields with migrant workers. And some of the indication of labor trafficking victims, like what are the signs that somebody is in slavery, include restricted movement. So that means they can only go if they're transported by the so-called employer. Debt bondage, which we talked about earlier, where they continually owe for housing and food and gas and all these bills that don't add up to what they're making. And then their identification is confiscated, like we just stated. And there are threats of violence or deportation. So they will try to get you deported, and maybe you can't go back to your country. Imagine if you're a refugee and your country's torn up by war and you have nowhere else to go. And these people are threatening to send you back somewhere where women are being beaten in the streets. So there's also migrant labor trafficking. And so there's something called a coyote. And a coyote is a human smuggler. Have you heard of the term coyote?
No, I'm going to record that. Yeah.
Okay, a coyote is a human smuggler. And individuals or groups of people who illegally transport migrants across borders. Often they charge high fees, and coyotes may collaborate with traffickers, delivering migrants into forced labor situations. So imagine you're like, I'm going to America, and your friend is already over in America. Like, yeah, girl, this is the people who brought me. And so they will stage a safe environment. And then when you get there, the environment is not safe. And people are taken to this country thinking that they have a better life coming to them. And when you do it on the low and you try to come in illegally, if you get in, you get in. But the ways that you get in are more dangerous because there are traffickers waiting at every turn because they know that you didn't go through the legal process. And then there are recruitment agents, and those are agencies that recruit migrant workers, and they use fraudulent contracts. So you'll see paperwork, and it makes you feel like you can trust them, but it will slowly get you into forced labor, of course. And labor trafficking and migrant smuggling are different things. A smuggler is someone who takes people across the border. Trafficking is someone who sells those people. And often those people work together. And there is some legal and human rights advocacy going on in our legislation. And the Trafficking Victims Protection Act is a law that establishes and defines and criminalizes human trafficking. The International Labor Organization is a UN agency that sets labor standards to combat forced labor and trafficking and exploitation worldwide, no matter where you are from. If you feel like you have been taken advantage of in any way in any country, you can call the International Labor Organization that is put on by the United Nations. Also, there is a T visa, and that's a U.S. visa granted to trafficking victims, allowing them to remain in the country and receive services while cooperating with law enforcement. So if you would like to tell on your traffickers, get justice for your trafficking, the United States will provide you a visa if it happened here or if you need to get away. And then there is the Fair Labor Standards Act, and that's a U.S. law establishing minimum wage. That means nobody should be paying you $2 an hour. That's exploitation. Different states have a different amount. And then there is Convention on Forced Labor, and there is an international treaty that defines and prohibits forced labor. That's why companies like Shein and Nestle Chocolate are constantly under scrutiny because they try to go around those laws to labor traffic people. And
Talking
yeah, so
about
I don't
that,
wear.
there was I was doing a degree late last year, and part of it was evaluating businesses. And one of the business that was evaluated was Shen, the website.
Mhm.
Those people, they use kids
Yeah,
under age for their business. They are the one that does all the clothing thing. They like underage, less than 10 years. They are the one in the market, in the factories, because all the older ones are they can do so much. So they do mime things, but they are the one that is really doing the most. And I'm like, so one of the reasons I do not order stuff from Shein, not like I wear their clothes, but there are
yeah.
things that
The
you
child
can
labor
just
trafficking
like.
is wrong.
Yeah. No, but their clothes is no no. Yeah, you wear it once, twice, and then you're done. And then when you wear it, you feel like it's leather. You know, you're wearing yeah. I don't know. I feel uneven.
Chemicals are leaching out.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable when I wear those clothes. So anyway, that being said, Shein was one of the businesses that we reevaluated, and it's. I would really tell people don't order as much as you used to just because it's cheap, because they are literally using kids, using children that cannot speak for themselves, and then you don't even pay them. They just give them meal a day. What is that supposed to do for them? You're not investing in your future. You're not saving up for college. You're not saving up them to go to school and achieve something with your life. You're just
Yeah. And the thing that's so
using those
disgusting
kids.
is these children wouldn't have any opportunities. So that meal is all they can get. And often, how much of a meal do you need? And the thing is, even if they did pay them, I mean, over there, the wage is different anyway. They can totally, even with
Mm-hmm.
these clothes, they can afford to pay their people.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
won't.
but they pay to their parents, and their parents don't have to work. They just send their kids to
Yeah,
work.
labor trafficking their own children.
And that is not far from what some Africans are doing, though.
Yeah, it's called familial trafficking.
Yep. It's
Familial
not far from
trafficking is
that
injected labor.
when a mom that's not up to 50, I would say, it's she can still work, and then she goes, my daughter is building me a house. Where is she getting it from? Why is she not in school? Why is she hawking things? Why? I understand. It's Please continue.
Yeah,
I
it's
really don't
like,
want to dive into it because I'm very passionate about these things, and
yeah,
it's really it's very irritating to even think about it. That
it's
I told you
familial
all
labor
this stuff.
trafficking.
Okay, it's different if you're trying to teach them business. It's different when you're trying to teach them to save. But when it's now after school or during school hours, they're out there selling things. Come on, come
Yeah, and
on.
it's not right. And I know that some countries do teach children to work young. There's nothing wrong with children working, but
There's
there should
nothing
only
wrong with it.
yeah, but the thing is there's a set amount of hours. A set amount of
Mhm.
hours and they need to be compensated. Children are not meant to work the same work hours as adults.
I think it's normally called the student job, which is like 20 hours a week. But
Yes,
some kids now work
something
60
low.
hours a week. They don't even sleep. They are now why do you think a lot of people, a lot of kids now are now this money syndrome. They are so desperate with I wanna make it, I wanna make it, I want to
Yeah,
make my
get in a
and,
bag, chasing the bag.
yeah, I said that some time ago in my life, and I'm like, anybody that is going as far as telling Anyone, I want to make my mama proud. Watch that child. Your
Exactly.
business in life is not to make your mother proud, it's to make you proud.
Make
The
your father
minute you
proud in
have that
heaven.
mindset to say, I want to make my mama proud, trust me, the next thing that comes to your mind is like, whoop, your mind is polluted. You can do the wrong things, all in the name of, I want to make my mama proud. Make yourself proud. Work on yourself. Be the best version of yourself. In 20 years' time, will you still be, you want to make mama proud? What, your mama will be happy when you are happy. Like,
hmm And if she's not happy when you're happy, she's us an exploiter.
like it's something I say this. I mean, there's a day I told my kid brother. He said, "I really want to make." I'm like, "Will you please keep quiet? Tell them make who proud. Make yourself proud. You're so unhappy. You don't have this. You don't have that, and you want to make your mama proud. Your mama can still walk. Your mama can take care of herself. She's been doing it for the last couple of years. That you've not started selling your brain, selling your soul. Make yourself proud. It this oh, I want to make my mama proud has gotten into the minds of people, has eaten their brain up, and it makes them do the wrong thing, makes nasty decisions.
And guess what? They're addicted to the reward. So
Oh yeah.
imagine your mother never was proud of you, or your mother never cared about your accomplishments. But now, that reward that you've been missing of your mother saying, "Oh, look at you doing so good. Look at you doing." She's saying that because she wants more money.
You better say you're not proud of me because I'm not working for you. I'm working for mercy. I'm working to make my kids proud, making a home, making a life for myself. So if you're not proud, I'm doing that, then there's something wrong with you. So these are some things I think I really want to do life on. I want, maybe I'll look for somebody to talk about it because kids are not supposed to be so into I want to make my mama. It's supposed to be a passion. You're supposed to groom them into knowing that it is me. I'm doing it for myself. Why do you
Yeah.
think a lot of people stay in marriages?
Yep, because they don't want to disappoint anybody. And and people like think also tying to marriage is that you've arrived.
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to, you are married. That's a different social status. Everybody wants to be somebody's wife, right? So now you have to um, stay in this marriage because the last thing they heard was that you were in marriage. And people have pride. Pride says, this marriage is going to work out in the illusion of people. Even if it's not going well on the inside, I need the outside to stay squeaky clean looking, and I need to be
Social
perform for people.
media
Who are
marriage.
these people? They
I
don't
want
even
it to
care about you.
be perfect.
Yeah, and as long as you have the illusion, some people choose even why they get trafficked is the illusion of perfection is better than happiness. So some of these
Yeah.
girls they stay because guess what? The pimp has a nice house. They can take selfies. The clothes are cute. They can look like, and you're in the car. Ooh, and it looks good. So you want to make people think you're unapproachable. So you're isolated because of the abuse, not because you came up so far that you're too good, but it justifies the dynamic because you're like, okay, well, I'm untouchable now. You can't talk and hang with me because I've made it to a point where you are not. I'm in a phase in my life and a high stature of life that you are no longer involved because I have arrived. And that's what it may look like to people who remember you from when
Mhm.
relationships were close. But in reality, you are isolated and not allowed to communicate with them.
And that's the same thing the devil does. When the devil wants to harm you, he isolates you. It makes you feel like the world is wicked. The world is this. I want to be in my share. And then before you know it, depression start kicking in. And then you all by yourself. Oh, I'm all by myself. There is nothing to live for. Before you know it, lack of vision will make the person okay unalive themselves. So why do you think all this happened? It's because before a child will say, okay, I want to really do this, go into selling my blessed body, it's because they've seen that okay, it pays more at that end, I want to be like Sophia. I want to be like Adam. I want to be like whosoever. Those people are reaping the fruit of their labor. You are eating your seeds. Those people are reaping.
Yes. And I really thought, because I was like, oh man, I mean, I did, I got my own apartment at 17. Had a car and apartment at 17. And, I thought I was like, I'm doing it. I got an
Yes.
apartment. I got a
I've
car.
arrived.
hmm And I can go to the mall. If you guys want to go out, oh, you don't have any money, I can pay for all of us to have dinner. I can take us in a limousine. I can buy all of our drugs and alcohol tonight. And I thought everybody was my friend, but they were only around because of the
What you
drugs, the
have.
alcohol, and the money. hmm And so the illusion, once again, not having love, I thought I could buy love.
Yeah,
And
but
now,
that's the same thing that worries me. Like, show enough love to people around you. So at the end of the day, they don't go looking for love somewhere else.
mhm,
Because the love you do not give to a child, they go looking for it somewhere else. And then when they see
looking for
two
love,
people in love or
you
see,
know that
they get
phrase,
jealous.
looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah, they start looking for love, and then you see kids, girls that just come in. They've been so neglected because they were stubborn, and then all of a sudden they find one boy that tells them, "I love you. You're so pretty." Something their mama never said to them. Something
They
their
was like,
papa
what?
never said to them, and then go, "Oh, I you're pretty. Okay."
You got me?
You
Me?
you talking to
Me?
me? Before you know it,
Yes.
they're everywhere. They're carried away, and that is how they get easily
Oh,
into this
when
sex
I heard
trafficking.
a man love me,
No, but
I was
that's what I'm telling
17,
you.
he
It's
was
not how
35.
beautiful. Yeah. And same thing is relationship. You see a lot of people. You have the best woman, but you never appreciated her for once because you feel like, I now have her. And then she left you. Somebody else is appreciating her. You're
hmm
like, oh, why did you leave me? Why won't I leave you? Why won't she leave you? Or why won't he leave you? When you are not appreciative, you've never tell your spouse. You see a married man never said that to his wife. Now, why do you do most infidelity is not even because they
Of
it's
a
because
lust. Yeah, it's not always lust.
it's not
It's
always lust. It's because somebody saw them for who they are. They went to the gym. Like now, I'm now a gym rat. So I go to the gym. Something my fiance never said to me, and someone else is saying, I'm sorry. I will fall like a mat. I will sleep. Do you understand? So people need to understand this, that appreciating other people, especially children, it help even their brain. Just one mistake, you are yelling, "Oh, I said it. You cannot make anything out of life. You are so useless. You are so destroyed." Child, you bet.
Yeah, and guess what? You're speaking a word curse over them. So I knew one girl, beautiful soul, but
Mm.
she was living in her house, and then she would sleep, sleep, and her mother didn't make her go to school. And then her mom tried to wake her up to go to school, and the stepfather said, "Don't wake her up. She's going to be on a welfare recipient anyway."
What?
He said she's going to be a welfare recipient anyway. Welfare from the government to take care of
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
bills
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, the food. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was like, "Don't wake her up. She's not going to be nothing. There's no reason to wake her up."
Can you imagine the negative words that was just passed to that child? And the mom, if she's
Yeah. And
ignorant,
guess
she
what?
goes,
Guess
"Oh,
what?
it's fine. I'm just gonna leave her alone." That
She
is
ended up
some
on
words
welfare.
you're supposed to like. I rebuke. Like this is what I trust in our African parents. They will go spiritual on you. They will, what did you say about my child? I rebuke it in Jesus' name. That is why you think we say Jesus too much because we will always rebuke
Because
it.
yes.
We will cast out that demon and slap the demon out of your mouth. We
Yeah,
tell
exactly.
God so the negativity will go off.
Amen.
When it comes to the power of the tongue, the things you say, oh, why do she's growing so like
She's
you
gonna
see
be
some people,
fast, just like her mama was. And then look
yeah,
what happened. She's
And
gonna
that
be fat. She's gonna
mentality
be a whole
stick,
like her mama.
and that mentality stick to them, and they keep going, oh yeah, I'm not beautiful. Why did there's a video I saw of a little girl that was telling someone, I'm not beautiful enough. No, you need to see this kid. Long hair, pointed nose, good eyes, nice lip, color that is popping. And then she's telling you, where did she get that from? Where did she get that from? No, don't tell me it's bullying school. Don't tell me it's bullying
That's at
school.
home. Because
It
guess
must
what?
be from home.
Yeah, I have colorism. So the thing about colorism, we are all black in my family, but I have the darkest skin. I have the whitest nose, and so there's definitely a preference, a
Mm-hmm.
low key preference for the lighter children.
Yeah. And then
And imagine that. And then, there's always this, and I mean, even in a lot of rap videos, a lot of everything, the girl must be mixed to be beautiful, must be this to be beautiful. And um, if you let that wear on you, it's by design. That's the enemy's
Mhm.
design to exploit black women. Like, okay, well, now it looks like these are the ones in the videos, these are this and that. So I need to be extra available to all of these men to show them that I can be desirable too, and all of this and that.
That takes us to getting stuff done in your body. No, I'm not against that. I say this and I say it again. If you
Modesty.
want to enhance your body, do it because you want it.
Don't
Don't
be.
do it. Don't do it. Don't do it because,
Am I pretty now?
hey, girl, get it together. Don't do it because A is doing it, or B is doing it, or C is doing it. Do it because you want to do it. I
Mhm.
go to the gym. I see a lot of girls like they carry this heavy thing, and I'm just there looking. Boy, I'm gonna do the
Yeah, guess
treadmill.
what? Me and this little booty are loved. I don't need all
What,
that.
girl? Do tummy content. The tummy needs to go. Do a bit of the butt, and then I'm off. I'm not in a competition with you, but you need to get a certain level of maturity for you to be able to know that.
Yeah, and have education. So that brings me to and restorative community concepts. We have a fitness trainer from South Africa, and we provide a personal trainer online for women. So that way,
Oh,
because yeah, I gained weight after leaving the life. The drugs kept me thin, and I stripped, so I had an athletic lifestyle. Now those
mhm,
things are gone, and I shouldn't have to tie my beauty and my health and my exercise to the life that I lived. Now
mhm.
I am, even to this day, I am working on those healthier habits. And it is a battle that many of us have to overcome, but you have to have support. You really do. And then I got married and I gained 40 pounds. I've lost like 6 of the 40, and I'm trying to get that whole 40 gone. And so, um, and the thing is, there's a stigma. There's like, oh, it's not I quit because I found Jesus. They're like, oh, you quit because you got fat. You quit because you fell off. You know, you know. So there's the pressure to stay beautiful and say, no, that's not why I left. I left because I have a morals. I have the Lord. I have a new confidence that
But
comes with who I am in Christ and not who I was on that pole.
but being a Christian, is it supposed to make you look less, or it's supposed to enhance? Now,
I feel more enhanced, but
God bless you. Now, if anybody say, "Oh, Messi's looking like this, she's no Christian, honey," then you have a problem. Now you are looking beautiful because this is who you are.
amen.
Everybody's beautiful in their own skin. But if you now say because you found Jesus and now you're not looking, what I don't understand, not taking care of yourself, not having a shower because you found. Have you seen some preachers? Like, oh no, I found Jesus. We don't do this. We don't wear earrings. We don't make our hair. Oh,
On Clubhouse, I fell for that for just so the thing is, the red flag came when I was talking to him like this, and my husband was on the couch sitting next to me. And then my husband ended up in the camera and he was like, "Oh no, do you have to go? I didn't know your husband was here. I didn't know this was anything romantic." So I thought My husband knows everything I'm doing. So once he felt uncomfortable that my husband was there, it was a red flag. And he told me that God told him that I was not to wear extensions and that it was okay for, and another girl was like, oh, I can wear them. I don't have that conviction. But for you. And then another woman I came to work and volunteer at her nonprofit. And she prophesied to me. She's like, it's not about this. She doesn't even know what she's talking about because God didn't give her the download of everything. He just told her, and what an obedient servant, right? Because she's just like, it's
Oh
not
my
about this.
God.
And then I was like, why do you keep saying that? And then she's like, it's not about this. And I was like, and she's like, does that mean something to you? I was like, yes. Okay. Because this guy led me to believe that because, some men, they let their women no earrings, no jewelry, no makeup, no hair, no extensions. So I took all of these things thinking that I was going down the path to purity, but I was going down the path of control. And I
Girl,
had, and I
the
was only a
same
month in.
girl, the same man who doesn't like women does not don't no, I want my woman to be natural. I like it the way you are. They're gonna be on you with somebody else all the time.
Yeah.
So
And it's
I
about
don't
control
know.
because it's control or preference. I mean, my husband, like I did put some dreadlocks in my hair and then I have the braids extensions. And he says, oh, I like it this way, but he would never tell me not to dress the way that I want to, as long as I'm modest and covered. As long as I'm covered. And even if I wasn't covered, he would probably just say, are you going to wear that? And then if I said, yeah, then he would just be maybe disappointed, but he would never force me because that's love.
No, but this generation they feel love is control. Love is not control. If it's controlling, love doesn't
Just
hurt.
like- Because they're like, if you don't care, but think about this, because I grew up in that strict abusive household. Imagine a household where they never cared. So that control to them, because imagine going to your friend's house and then mom's like, this is dinner time. Now we're going to bed. When you wake up, we will have breakfast, clean your room, do all of this, and this. Some kids didn't have that. So when they see that, it looks controlling, but it's just discipline. And so imagine your house, your mom comes in and out anytime she wants. She's on drugs and alcohol. She's on welfare, maybe. So you have your rent covered. So you're not homeless, but she comes in and out as she pleases. And you could come in and out as you please because she doesn't care about your whereabouts. So to see somebody who cares about your whereabouts, wants to know where you are and what you're doing is attractive to you because nobody cared before.
Yeah. Yeah, but when it comes to you saying the mother doesn't care, I think mothers always care. It might just be a factor for maybe the brain is not functioning well, maybe of course under the influence of any kind of substance can make a mom or a mother don't care for their kids or look after that their children because I don't know it's I found it strange to say a mom would not care.
Okay, well, I guess maybe it's not. I mean, I felt I guess, coming from a strict home, the times when my mother didn't care would be that, she's involved in a romantic relationship. She still, if something passed her eye that wasn't right, she would put it in line. But if it didn't cross her eye, I had more freedom because she was preoccupied.
Yeah,
And
because
some
she was
people,
occupied with other relationships she does not want out. So that is something that I mean, that's why I said the mom care, but there are things. Oh, my kid is gonna grow and therefore it does not mean you should leave the kids and let the kids be kids and be a vagabond all over the place or and
yes,
community nuisance, I'm just
um,
saying,
yeah, I
girl.
had a friend like that, and I felt so bad because I'm ripping and running the streets with her. I didn't know any different because my mom left me home alone since the age of about 8. She came home every day and stuff. It's just like during work. And, I knew how to cook at 8 and everything. So I did grow up fast, not grow up like sexual, but I grew up responsibility fast.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice it. So when my friend was doing it with her kids, I never said, hey, girl, you need a babysitter. Her son was 12. I said, okay, well, let's go. Your son has him because that's how I grew up. But the thing is, he was a boy, he was a child, he didn't know better. And he played chicken in the streets with his friend. I was not with her that day, or I don't know how I would. I mean, I wasn't
React.
with her that day, but the day that he went outside to play chicken on the highway with his friend, His friend made it across and he did not, and he was hit by a semi truck. You need to know where your kids are. Yeah, and he was killed. And I was not with her that day, but I could have been with her that day because this was our normal thing. And so she was giving, and and she wasn't partying this time. She was taking her other friend to get dialysis.
Oh.
For kidneys. So that time, but guess what? It could have been any time. Drinking, partying, going out was the normal. Just that day, it wasn't with me. And that day, it wasn't a party. But still, the behavior was the same. So she lost her child because of negligence. To let your child run the household is not always responsible. And if they do, you need to have a camera in your home. And even if you're not there, you need to have surveillance and you need to have restrictions. He was able, like you said, like a vagabond, going everywhere, doing whatever he wanted. And what he wanted to do wasn't safe. He wanted to play a game of chicken with his friend, and his friend won, and he lost and died.
Wow. The thing is that these whole stories are very they are very disheartening to hear, when you hear things like this and how negligence could really do more harm than you think you're having fun. Like, to see the
Mhm.
other girl
Yeah.
left a 1-year-old child. Imagine that child grows up without no attention from the mom or the parents. It's finished. She will go into trafficking. She goes find love or protection somewhere else. So it's
Yeah.
it's
That's why
something that.
pimps say call me daddy. Pimps say call me daddy because they say I'm your father, I'm your friend, I'm your man. And so if a girl never had a father, she doesn't know what it's like to have a father. So the control looks like structure and is desired at
I
first.
would like you to say that again. I want to record it. Okay, say.
Okay, so a pimp often tells the victim to call him daddy. And they call him daddy because they may have been missing that father figure in their life. So when he's calling them daddy, he comes off as controlling. And at first, it looks like the structure that they never had. And it may be even welcomed by the victim until they realize that they are caught in a trap. But often, traffickers get girls from the homeless shelters, the teenage homeless shelters. Or foster care. Some people get these girls right out of foster care. She's 16 and you adopt her so you can have her for the next 2 years. But instead, now she goes from being unwanted to being wanted and loved for all the wrong reasons.
Wow. Love your kid, though. Love your kids. Show them you love them. Love your partners. Show them you love them. If not, things like this, these things happen, and you would think it's what we watch on TV. Everything you've been saying, we watch this on TV. We never know
For
it happens.
entertainment. And this came from somewhere. I was with my trafficker when he would go to the homeless shelters and guess what? And the abused women shelters. So abuse shelters, don't advertise your location because he's out there, he's driving around, he's got food and alcohol. And he's like, hey, are you staying in that shelter? Do you need anything? Do you need grocery money? He's like, well, you want to come kick it with me? And let's go get you some food and get you cleaned up. And he would say that and get them lured. He lured the victim with resources. A trafficker can't just always beat somebody and then take them in the van. That doesn't work. What's missing? They find what's missing and they provide it for a big cost.
So what about those people that actually does that, like on a van, take kids and be like, oh, you want chocolate? And then give it to them, and what are those people called? Because what are the
They're
different?
called child kidnappers.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
it's,
and in
it's got the
America,
same purpose, isn't it?
so yeah, because the kid wants the candy and they're like, dang, and we knew not to go in the car with strangers. But some kids don't know that, or every adult that they've been around is so-called safe. Even though my mom, we were not around safe adults. But the thing is, she thought these adults were safe. And I guess they were compared to others. So she said, hey, if you don't know these men or they give you money for the ice cream truck, don't take it. Don't take that money. But when it came to the drug dealers that were friends with my family, we could take money from them and nothing ever happened with them. But then a different circle of drug dealers years down the line, he's been giving me, now I'm too old for ice cream money. I'm 13, but he's still giving me that ice cream money. And then, he moves in to be on ankle monitor, and he's about 27 and I'm about 16. Then when he moves out of my home, I'm familiar with him. So he's like, hey, you want to come over here and have some drinks? I'm already drinking, right? And so I come over for drinks, and the next thing you know, he takes me into a hotel and gives me ecstasy. And that would have never happened had there been a clear boundary of who should and shouldn't be trusted. I was led to believe that he was someone we could trust when he was not. And and the thing is, like, I've had drinks with this person before. They groom you slowly. He's been giving me ice cream money since I was, and if I need school clothes, I could call him and I could guarantee a shirt or two. And so I never thought, I would call him cousin, call him uncle, call him whatever. And he never did anything to me until the day he did.
Wow.
And, I trusted him. I loved him as a family member. I absolutely loved him. And he was always there and such a big help. So, and then on top of that, like, to have a few drinks with him wouldn't be out of place, because I was a rebellious teen and he never took advantage of me before. But that was when he lived in my home. Now he doesn't live in my home, and things have changed. The dynamic changed. And I was groomed to trust him by both adults in my family, and then him being always trusting, always reliable, always helpful. So I thought, this is a good family member. Oh, he'll buy me drinks too? Great. He was somebody I could always go to when I wanted something. And who knew what he wanted in return years later, after knowing me since I was about 11 or 12 years old.
Wow. Wow. Meaning these people are also familiar. They can be familiar people.
Mm-hmm. And he gave me money, and he always gave us all money when we were kids. He gave us all money all the time. So they say, hey, call him if you need money or you need something. He'll give it to you. He was no good person in the community.
Well, you know why I started laughing? The way you said, "Get me money, get me money." I could literally see the baby you,
Yeah.
the innocent girl. You go, I'm gonna record this. You went, he gave me money, give me money. So I just saw a picture of one innocent girl that was just collecting money from someone that is known to be a giver, not knowing he or she. Is it he or she?
He.
He's trying to buy off their destiny, not yours. So yeah, I literally just saw that face.
Yeah. And
imagine 13-year-old
always giving. Anytime you see him, it's time to ask for money, because he always gives it. If he comes in, you're like, hey, the money's here, girls, come out. The money's here. And I think even if there were little boys, he'd probably give them dollars too, for the ice cream truck or anything. And so just, teach your children. My mom did teach us, do not accept money from people you don't know or anybody hanging around here. But since he was somebody that we knew and trusted, it was acceptable to accept money from him. So even as a parent, my mother had the best intentions, for sure. She was like, we don't take money from strange men. We don't take money. But this man wasn't a stranger. And he did not touch me when I was very little. But he eventually became someone who drugged me and took advantage of me in a hotel. So, alcohol is one thing, but to offer me ecstasy, and I'm like 16 years old, that's, that's a mind-altering drug that people use in place of the date rape drug.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
At every barbecue, every family photo, every event, every birthday.
Is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And growing up the way that I did, somebody getting touched, and I wasn't touched and I wasn't molested, I guess, I was date raped. But the thing is, that was something that didn't happen in our home. That was something that didn't happen. Nobody else had reported anything like that. And I reported it eventually, later in life. And then when I'm about 20, we're out drinking. He's still a friend of the family. The family's still a friend of them. Nobody, the youngers know, the olders don't who he is. But guess what? Even though the youngers knew, they still invited me to a party where he was present. They still invited me on an outing where he was present, even though they knew what happened. So now, years later, we're talking, we're drinking together. And he's like, oh, are you still mad about that ecstasy thing? And then I just kind of blew it off because he was buying my drinks. And here I am, already been trafficked. I'm already groomed. I was like, oh, no, trying to laugh it off. And then he tried to make it a point to offer me an IOU of some kind of money in exchange for favors. And here I am caught in another dangerous situation by somebody who my family trusted.
Oh.
But guess what? Me leaving the party with him, why did that look like I was the one, the hoe, the this, the that? Nobody's paying attention to me being lured again. And yeah, now I'm like 20 something, but I'm being trafficked anyway. So how would I know, and for people who are not being trafficked, when there's that girl that looks easy and looks like, sometimes she may just be sexually open. Other times there's some trauma there. There is some dynamic there that is leading her to believe that this is one of the better options. And anytime sex is a better option, it's not the best option. No. There are no options when sex is the best option.
Wow.
Yes, I know we've gone way over, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope that was educational to somebody. And like Mercy was saying, your children, you need to protect them at all costs. Even if you're not feeling loved or affectionate towards your children, go to counseling, do something, because there's someone.
I have to record what you're saying. You talk so fast, I didn't know when you started. I'm just going to start. Okay.
Okay, so what I was saying was, you just need to be loving to your children. Even if you don't feel affectionate towards your children, you need to provide that, not based on your emotions, but as a need. It's a need of your children. You don't starve them when they're hungry, because you feed them because they need that. Well, just like you would give your child food, no matter how you felt, you need to love them no matter how you feel, because that is a need. And without love, children are traumatized.
Easy target as well.
Yeah, they're traumatized and now they're vulnerable because there's a need missing. If your child was hungry and you didn't feed the child, you may end up hearing that your child is robbing the grocery store or something. Well, you wouldn't hear that your child is trafficked. My mom did hear that I was trafficked. They lied because they knew the truth. So they called my mom with the lie and say, hey, we seen your daughter out at 2 a.m. at a hotel with this woman. This woman's a pimp. And guess what? They never saw me, but they lied and said that because I was there. Mm-hmm. And they just wanted to bring it to her attention any way they could. They didn't have evidence, but they knew because of the circles they hung in. They knew. So they lied to my mom and told her a lie that was the truth. The story was a lie, but the situation was the truth. And they lied and said that to bring it to her attention. And then she confronted me and I said, no, of course not.
Girl,
I'm 17. I have no job. I have a car and apartment. Of course not.
Yeah, of course, and no question asked, huh?
Because I have money. Mm-hmm. And even if you are working at 17, what job got you in a car and apartment at 17?
To get, and the car wasn't a loan. It wasn't a loan car.
Yeah. And, to have designer clothing, to have everything like that, there's no child will have that. So that's also a red flag. If a child has all this designer clothing and stacks of money, don't listen to anything they say, because even if they're not being trafficked, they also may be involved in drug smuggling and other illegal activities. money and a certain change in wardrobe and lifestyle is very obvious. And kids are stupid. They're going to want to show off, especially at school. They're going to want to show that they got the newest Nikes, the newest whatever. You know, they want to show that they got a Birkin bag. They want to show. And
Just pay
so when you're
attention as a
wondering,
parent. Just pay attention. In general, pay attention. Don't be too carried away that you do not see these things. And sometimes I feel partners as well. You know your man is not earning enough money, but then he has this
yeah,
car that's not a loan in the parking lot. Or
yeah,
guys are living in a big house or living
little
two.
paycheck with a little paycheck. And the thing is, women, do you know if your man does illegal activity and takes care of you, you can go to jail for conspiracy unless you tell on him. So if you have a taste for drug dealers and criminals as boyfriends and husbands, please know that in the United States, you will be charged. If you count the money, even if there's no drugs in the house, if he never brings drugs home, but he brings money home and you count that money and you go pay the bills with that money, guess what? You're on the hook for conspiracy under federal law.
Wow.
That sound came out too perfect at the time.
Came too perfect. Anyway, I would like you to round up before we go because you have said a lot. You have, I mean, this is more than 2 hours, and we just kept talking and talking because it's a whole lot. So, what advice would you give for? Okay, we've done too much on children. Let's talk married couple. Like, how would you know your husband or your wife is? I'm gonna record this as well. How would you know your if your partner, being male or female, is involved in this life?
Okay, so sometimes they have, um, you should have the code to your partner's phone, but you should never have to look in it. I have the code to my husband's phone, but I rarely have to go searching. If you feel the need to search, and you are not typically a jealous person or an insecure person, if you feel pulled to searching, that's the Holy Spirit trying to let you know something's going on. So, um, someone who is suddenly the same thing like with the children, you're suddenly coming up with designer this and designer that. Um, the need to flaunt will expose. They're exposing and telling on themselves by the things they flaunt. If you are seeing your partner keeping strange hours, I need to go to the office. I need to go to the office. I left something at the office. Okay, so if their job previously didn't require them to leave at strange hours and they were not promoted, then that is a red flag. Also, I need to give so and so a ride. I need to give so and so a ride. They're constantly, suddenly, they're a taxi now and they got to give everybody a ride. Okay, well, you're not an Uber and this is a home. Why do you feel responsible to go out and give somebody a ride? Or why do you want to go on a grocery store run alone or when I'm sleeping, when we normally go together? It could look like cheating. It could look like cheating, and it could just be criminal lifestyle to, maintain things. Also, if there are friends that you've never seen before that they're suddenly interacting with, but you don't know anything about those friends, you need to know the friends of whoever your partner is with. It is strange and it is unhealthy to not know your partner's friends. If it's your partner's friend and they're good enough for the partner, then they're good enough for you. If my husband said, oh, it's boys' night, I could say, okay. But if it's always boys' night and it's never an opportunity for us to have dinner together, then that means that these relationships are isolating from me and you need to know why you are not included. And if it's not like a hobby, I understand if they like to go shooting or playing basketball and you don't, that's one thing. But if it's something that you may like to do and like just simply going to eat or going to a movie and you're not invited, you may want to scrutinize the details. Yeah.
Something is fishing.
Yes,
Fish so hard. Get it. Get it.
exactly. Something's fishy. It looks
Wow.
like cheating when your partner is doing crime without you knowing. Also, um, you need to know who you really are with. Look them up. And looking people up doesn't show everything. And guess what? People change. But you need to know who you really are with. Some people, they get out of jail, they start drug dealing, and guess what? They know how to dress nice. They maybe don't have tattoos everywhere. Somebody could have tattoos everywhere and be a really good person. Somebody could have no tattoos and be a straight dog in the streets. So you don't know who you are with. Learn who you are with. Because guess what? That lifestyle comes with, if you become a drug dealer, you're a target for robbery. There is labor trafficking involved because a lot of the time these drug dealers take young boys. Our young boys are being made to peddle these drugs. These drugs carry a lot of time in prison. So if you can get a child may get less time and a time in juvenile court. So if a child is 14 and he gets caught with all of these drugs, he may go to jail for a year or two, but it's not going to be on his adult record. And these criminals know that. So they use the boys. So if your adult companion is suddenly the big homie to all these young boys, and you don't see him mentoring anything structural or edifying, you may wonder why these relationships are there. Why is he going to run errands with this child, do things with this child, bring food and groceries to this child? Once again, it could look like cheating. Is this your side piece's son? Maybe not. Maybe this is the young boy who runs drugs for him. So he may give him $50 once a week and a couple of beers and be making this boy work. And it's an ugly world. And I wrote about this in a book coming. I have a book that I am co-authoring on, and it talks about before the child is taken. What could you do? What can you look for? And I wrote a chapter in the book, just one chapter, called Big Homie. And Big Homie is what my trafficker used to call herself to me. Big Homie is that adult that looks out for the younger ones. But Big Homie shouldn't be buying drugs and alcohol, shouldn't be showing a criminal lifestyle. But Big Homie can, and that's because Big Homie knows that if Big Homie does all this by himself, he's going to jail for a very long time. So children are an easy target to operate the enterprise and stay out of prison. The adult stays out of prison. The child may go to prison, but he'll only go for a little while. And guess what? He'll go, and then that trafficker will keep giving him money while he's in jail and take care of him. So he's living like a king in jail. So when he gets out, this man has already been feeding him for a year in jail. So he feels like this is his only family. Family and friends may not be there. So there's still a bond. And then when he gets out, he goes and he continues to do what he used to do for that man. But now he's over 18. And now that he's over 18, he's going to prison for real this time. And if he doesn't tell, he's doing all the time. So it's like a foster care, a pipeline from foster care to prison. And labor trafficking is involved. But we could go on forever. So I know we got to wrap this up as watch your children.
Girl.
God, I'm like, go again.
I'm sure I'm bringing you back because we need to talk about the prophetic thing, the clubhouse thing. We need to talk about it. So we're gonna have that conversation, and I hope you watch this video. It is long, but it is. Apostle Priscilla, thank you guys. Go follow Zoe Live TV. Are you following? Are you subscribed to their channel? You need to do
I
it.
sure will.
You need to follow. You need to subscribe. She has a lot of books. She has a lot of things coming up, and yeah. So, guys, thank you so much, and I will be back with more live. Girl, you want to say something?
I would like to ask you if you would like to help co-author the book with one other lady about the clubhouse dynamic, because that book needs out. It needs out, and I would like to get that book into the hands of anybody who wants to buy it, but for free. I would like to get that book into the hands of the elderly because they are the most vulnerable.
Okay, I will. We will relate with that. We will talk about that. on the
Yeah, and then
phone.
the episode can be the promotion of the book.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. So I will contact you tomorrow because it's almost time for cooking. So
Absolutely.
I will contact you and then we're gonna chat about it and know what decision to make. Okay?
All right, awesome. God bless you. It was a
Thank you
pleasure to be on
so
again.
much. God bless you. God bless you. And that your heart desire that God has spoken to you about, it will come to pass. It
In
will
Jesus' name.
tarry. It's just tarrying. Huh? Delay does not mean denial. He said it, he will complete it. He's God. He's not a respecter of men. He doesn't care your history. That thing you've asked of God, it will come to pass.
In Jesus' name.
I will leave it at that. But I know what it is. We said
Yes.
about it the last time, but I don't want to go over that again. But
Amen. Bye.